तो दोस्तों, वेलकम टू भोपाल पिजन। टुडे आज जो है हम लोग आए हैं वो है एडिसन थॉमस एड लियो लॉफ्ट, इनका जो लॉफ्ट है। और ये KRPC के प्रेसिडेंट रह चुके हैं और एट प्रेजेंट जो है इन्होंने अपना क्लब खुद चालू किया है और BRPS
Bangalore Racing Pigeon Society.
बैंगलोर रेसिंग पिजन सोसाइटी, इसके ये प्रेसिडेंट है। तो इनका ये लॉफ्ट है, तो हम अभी गुफ्तगू करते हैं इनके साथ में। यू कैन स्पीक सर, नाउ इट इज अप टू यू।
Yeah, I think it's great to keep pigeons, and I think we've built a nice community of people who love racing pigeons. So we are lucky to have like-minded people, and we are enjoying the sport. But it all goes back to the bird itself, because I think the bird itself gives us so much joy. The fact that it comes back home to you, and the fact that it graces your morning with its beautiful flight. I think these are the simple pleasures that this hobby can give you. And of course, when it comes back to your house on race day from a great distance, your the happiness that you feel is something that money can't buy. So I think it's a hobby to be enjoyed. I think it's something that brings you closer to nature, brings you closer to birds and animals. And just by looking at the birds every day, watching their behavior, we learn so much. So I think it's this that this aspect of this hobby that we'd like to instill upon our members. We started this club basically, not for racing and not for winning medals and cups and so on. We started this club basically for youngsters, for new people to understand the hobby, to take care of the pigeons, how to take care of them, how to keep them, how much space do they need, how much space do two birds need to breed, how much of a space do flying birds need, to teach them these small things. And of course, the medication, how much to medicate. There's always been a problem with pigeon fanciers where we tend to over medicate. Pigeon fanciers are always looking for something to put in the water. I would say leave them alone. I think the birds will be fine with just with plain water. You should know when to medicate, what to medicate, and this is something that we teach. Our club members, we have veterinarians, we have experienced fanciers, who are there as part of our mentor group, and we'd like to encourage more youngsters to take up the hobby and get closer to animals.
Yeah, it's very right saying to say कि हम लोग जो है we don't know how to keep the birds. That is very much important. Everyone should come to know कि हम कबूतर कैसा रखें, भाई उनको कैसा पाले। मैं इसलिए हिंदी में बात कर रहा हूँ ताकि व्यूवर्स जो है हिंदी ये नहीं जानने वाले भी इस वीडियो को पूरी तरह से जान जाए। और कबूतर रखने के लिए उसको कितना स्पेस चाहिए, जैसा कि मेल अलग सेक्शन में है, फीमेल्स अलग सेक्शन में है, ओपन बर्ड अलग सेक्शन में है, डर्बी बर्ड्स अलग सेक्शन में है। तो ये जो चीज़ें हैं, ये जो पुराने हमारे क्या बोलते हैं कि फैंसियर्स हैं, इनसे हमको सीख मिलती है। एंड वी होप दे विल टेल समथिंग विच इज़ वेरी इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर अस, जो हम नहीं ले पाते हैं, और वो इनके थ्रू हम पूरे इंडिया में मैसेज भेजना चाह रहे हैं कि ये क्या चीज़ है, मेडिकेन यूज़ करना है, लेकिन कब करना है वो ये बताएंगे आपको। और पहला तो इनके अच्छे बर्ड्स की ये खुल के हमको बताएंगे कि ये शॉर्ट डिस्टेंस है या मिडल डिस्टेंस है या लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस है। मैं तो जानता हूँ, जैसा मैं जानता हूँ, सर जो है बहुत ही पुराने जो है फैंसियर हैं और नॉलेजेबल पर्सन है, और इनसे कोई सीख मिल जाए तो दैट इज़ अ वेरी गुड थिंग फॉर अस सर। Sir, please can you show us the birds so that
Yeah, I could show you.
हमको बताएंगे कि एक कबूतर को हैंडल कैसे करना है, वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, और उनकी क्वालिटी कैसा परखना है क्या है, वो एडिसन सर बताएंगे हम. सर, यू कैन.
Okay, first thing is we should all know that the bird does not like to be held. Okay, it doesn't want to be held, and these are not you cannot domesticate these pigeons. Pigeons can be great pets. You can keep them like your dogs. It can even come and eat in your hand. They can sit on your shoulder and all that. But since we use these birds for racing and they have to come back from such great distances, we'd like to keep a little bit of wildness in them, a little bit of natural instincts for them, a little bit of fear, so that they immediately take off, because if they get domesticated, then when they're coming back tired, if they see a human being, they'll go towards that human being, and maybe landing in different places. But when you keep their natural instinct, then they're always alert, trying to looking for predators and so on. So we like to keep them alert. So I don't handle my birds too much. So in fact, I only handle them when I basket them. Otherwise, I don't touch my birds at all. But if you have to handle the birds, the best way would be to to hold their feet like
Legs.
this, hold their legs down, so that they don't struggle too much, so the and then put your fingers around the wings so that the wings don't thing, and then you can hold it like this. It'll be comfortable, so don't squeeze, don't press it against your body, just hold it lightly, just hold it lightly, easy, like that. And that's one way to hold a pigeon. If you want to check the wing, then you spread the wing out like that.
So this
Yeah.
is which type? Sorry,
This is a good middle distance bird,
middle distance.
and it has done very well for me in the middle
And it's a
distance.
speedy bird also, sir.
Yeah, it's quite a fast bird. It did 700 kilometers on the same day. It 750 kilometers
on day.
on day.
Very good.
On day.
Very
On
good,
day.
sir.
So it's one of those birds,
And the line of this bird is, sir?
this is crossed with some of my old lines. I brought in some Jan Addons a couple of years ago, and the original Jan Addons, the youngsters that I bred directly didn't do very well for me, but when I crossed them with some of my flown lines, they did well. So I've been flying this line for some time now, and yeah, they're doing quite well. In fact, they do well after 400 kilometers, between 400 and 750. Last year, I did not take part, but did take part in the 1,000-kilometer race. But I do have some long distance lines which have flown 1,000 kilometers many times. I don't have so much time to fly 1,000 kilometers, so I haven't really taken part in many 1,000-kilometer races. But after 750-kilometer race, I fly them every year.
Okay.
I have taken part in 2 or 3,000-kilometer races. My bird has come back from in the year 2000. I got one bird back. So almost 23 years ago, I got a bird back from 1,000 kilometers.
Okay.
So that was a great distance. We used to fly Bhopal in those in those days, 850 kilometers, and so on. And then 2010, another bird came back from 1,000 kilometers. In fact, it took the second place, I think.
Okay.
That bird was bred by another senior fancier, Gopi, and given to me as a young bird. So I flew it in my house. In fact, it trapped here exactly in that loft, and came back after a couple of days, but it did come back. So we have flown a couple of 1,000-kilometer races, but what happens is, because I live in Chennai and I work in Chennai. So yeah, I'm only here in Bangalore for 2 days, so Saturday and Sunday. So day races work better for me. And many of these 1,000-kilometer birds, I was not there at home to see them coming.
Oh, that is the happiness which the bird comes in.
Yes, I was never there at home, and my work is such that I really don't have the time to.
Can you express what is your work?
I'm a journalist. I've been a journalist all my life. I did teach for a couple of years, but I work with the New Indian Express. I was with the Times of India for about 15, 20 years, and but for the last 6 or 7 years, 7 years now, I'm very happy with the New Indian Express. I look after a lifestyle magazine called Indulge, and yeah, yeah, I very recently moved back to Bangalore. Actually, the last 7 years I've been in Chennai. So racing has been very difficult. I've always had help. I've had friends who helped me. I've had people like Madan who look after the pigeons. So otherwise it's very difficult for me. It's almost impossible to to
It
race
is like,
pigeons. So I actually used to see my birds only on weekends.
okay.
I would come home on Saturday morning and see them flying, and I would basket them on Saturday evening. So it was that difficult, but the birds were good, and they did well for me.
Sir,
So
we have heard lot of name about your name, sir.
yeah, thank you.
This was it was our हमारी खुशकिस्मती थी कि we came to you and you gave your golden time to us for
Anytime.
that. But I want to see some sprinter who is doing good for you, sir.
Yeah, I have some sprinters. This is one of my classic sprinters. You can tell by the body,
Yeah.
like a more like Ben Johnson, than So he's well muscled. The wing slightly short on the wing, and flaps really fast. Yeah, you can see the step gives him that speed. You can see the step here also. So very fast bird. I've crossed some Jansons into my old lines,
And you got this.
and I got this. Yeah.
We want to see the eye sign of this bird also.
Yeah, sure.
So you do you believe in eye sign for the birds?
Pigeons should have eyes. I believe that
That
pigeons
is-
should have eyes.
That is very much important for us.
But I don't know if we have good lights to see the eye. I think might need. Yeah. So I look at the eye.
Okay.
I definitely look at the eye. I like a bright eye.
Okay.
I like an eye which has life.
Okay.
I like an eye which has movement.
Okay.
I like.
What about the mountain effect in the eye?
I've had birds without the mountain effect that have raced very well for me.
Okay.
But I do like a little bit of granulation.
Okay.
Those birds have done well. It's primarily telling me that it's a healthy eye.
Okay.
The more the granulation, the greater the blood vessels in the eye. So I think it's a healthy eye. So I look at the eye more for the health of the bird and to see how lively it is and so on. But I do like a little bit of movement
Okay.
in the eye. I look for movement in the eye. I do not like an eye which is, too
Totally
still.
bl-
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But one more thing is at the time of breeding,
Yeah.
always the opposite side color matches. What is the theory behind that?
Yeah, it's a very old theory. It has been tested, and it's basically, primarily trying to pair birds which are very different from each other. It's as simple as that, because then the factor of hybrid vigor kicks in.
Okay.
There's hybrid vigor. There's a lot of characters that you bring into the youngsters. Sometimes opposite characters that you bring into the youngsters. When you pair very similar birds, the hybrid vigor factor is not there. If you want to bring in that hybrid vigor, you have to pair two very, very different lines.
Okay.
So that's more important than the color of the eye.
Okay.
So you can bring in a Jansen, which is a pearl eye, and bring in a Dias, which is also a pearl eye, and pair them together.
That will do.
And it'll do well.
Okay.
So it's two pearl eyes, but
Okay.
it'll do well. You could bring in a Calcutta
The
bird.
same line. You don't go for the same color of the eye.
Yes.
Okay,
So,
I got you, sir.
Yeah. You can bring in a Calcutta bird and a Catrice bird, and both with yellow, pigmentation. You
They
can
will
pair
go
them,
along.
and they will do well also.
So sir, why we have come here? You have a lot of knowledge in this. So it is like people throughout India should come to know what is knowledge, what is pigeon thing.
Yeah.
Basically, in South we have a lot of hummers. but in North still we are coming up slowly.
I see.
So we want that people throughout India should come to know
Sure.
what is
Yeah,
really a
yeah.
racing homer is.
Yeah. So, in very simply put, racing homer is it's basically a homing pigeon. It's a homing pigeon. All pigeons will come back home, but a homing pigeon is capable of coming back home faster, and it's capable of coming back home from great distances. So, many kings and even the Orissa police force, I think even to date, I think they use the pigeon postal service. Our King Akbar is supposed to have used pigeons for almost all kings in India have used pigeons for messages. You've heard Kabutar ja ja ja, and all that,
So one more thing, sir, it's very important. We had Indian homing pigeons, or all it is an import bird. Import.
Okay, so I have been keeping pigeons from the time I was 6 years old,
Okay.
which is 1976. I have been
Okay.
keeping pigeons, and I have seen homing pigeons from almost early 70s, late 70s. I've seen homing pigeons, and they have changed. The structure of the pigeons have changed. So in those days, the pigeons I saw, they would stand erect like this.
Okay.
The stance was very different. And after the imports started coming in, the stance changed.
Okay.
It became a little bit more boat shaped kind of thing, and people started checking the keel of the bird and so on. So I have seen the bird change over the years, but we have had some good pigeons, I'm sure, in the past, because I remember the homing pigeons that I had when I was a child, maybe when I was 10 years old, would also come back home. Not from such great distances, but
It had a homing
it had
capacity.
the homing capacity to come back home. Maybe if I tried it, it would have probably come back from 200 or 300 kilometers. So, but this kind of muscle, this kind of structure, I think
It only comes when you breed the
when,
import.
when I think it's more to do with the studied breeding.
Okay.
Properly bred birds. When you breed for a purpose,
Okay.
then you get this
That
kind of
result,
structure, and this is the kind of result. So I think Belgians and people in Holland were much better in doing that.
Yeah, 100%.
So-
Their small scale in this industry is
is
just
yeah.
And the most expensive birds are coming from the Belgium and all.
Yeah.
And great. It is. They have
Yeah.
worked out so well.
Yeah.
So it is the output now.
Yeah. But in India, whether it's Indian birds that are flying or imported birds that are flying here, our birds have been doing very well. They've been doing equally good in terms of distances and so on, and time taken. I think Indian birds do almost the velocities we are not able to match, because I don't think we have the same kind of winds. But I think Pune has been able to match international velocities, because I think in Pune, I think they got some very good results from
That was
700.
the tailwind, I heard. So.
Yeah.
So
But
it is
whatever.
like-
But still, people
is
in the
the
US,
velocity.
people in the US also get
As you
blow
said,
home races.
as you said just
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
that the wind, it depends on the wind.
Depends on the wind. A bird can fly about 60 to 70 kilometers per hour.
One more small question. Now the homing pigeon, how it takes the route? It depends on how many things that I want to know from you, sir.
Yeah, I think to start off, I think it definitely has a magnetic orientation. I think they say there are some sediments in the beak, and of course, it has a brain which will translate that into telling it which direction to go. But I think it kicks off as a magnetic orientation, because when you release the bird, it goes in the right direction. So I don't think that can come from sight.
Okay.
I think it's an innate intelligence that the bird has to find out which is north, south, and east or west. So I think I'd like to call it a magnetic orientation that
Okay.
gives it the direction.
Okay.
And as it comes closer home, I think it uses sight and
And one
memory.
more thing is there, sir. What about the direction of the sun?
Definitely, the direction of the sun also affects it marginally, because if you notice, if you're training your birds every day in the morning in the AM, and you're releasing them from 100 kilometers in the AM, and suddenly one day, you release it at 3 p.m.
Okay.
You know, uh, initially it goes in the opposite direction and then it comes back. So it's slightly disoriented, but within a minute or two, it will be able to find the right direction.
So that is a very good thing now.
Yeah.
As sir said,
Yeah.
it is only we do exercise in the morning. So we have to do morning and evening for that.
So I'd like to train my pigeons both in the morning and in the evening. I don't road train my birds too much in the evening, because I'd like them to come home safely. But I do toss my birds in the PM also. So especially less than 100 kilometers. Sometimes I leave home by 10 o'clock so that I reach there by around 12 or 1, and then release them around 1 o'clock.
Okay.
So then they learn to fly back.
Very nice.
In the PM.
This was again a good thing for the viewers.
Yeah.
One more thing, sir. If your bird is coming now, it is so many years you are in the field. Any hawk attack bird has returned to you.
Yes. Hawks do disturb our pigeons, but I can tell you something. If your pigeon is healthy, it will never get caught by a hawk. It is up to the fancier to ensure that we fly only healthy birds. Please do not be greedy and put all the birds that are there into the basket for training or races. Only healthy birds should go on training or races. If the bird has a 10th flight or 9th flight growing, please hold it back. You can fly it next year. Nothing wrong. If you fly these birds, they will get picked up by the hawks. The hawks are able to see slow birds. The hawks can identify a weak bird. The hawks can identify a sick bird, and survival of the fittest, it will go for the weak bird and it will pick it up. So first of all, do not fly any bird that is not completely healthy.
Thank you, sir. This was a very good, very good answer, sir. Really appreciate your experience and which you have given to the whole viewers here.
Yeah.
That दोस्तों भाई जो भी सिक बर्ड है, जो भी 9वीं 10वीं कली अगर नहीं लगाया है, जो आधी आ रही है, तो सर जैसा बता रहे हैं कि उसे होल्ड करें, आप उसे होल्ड करें, ग्रीडी मत हो कि वो भी डाल दूं ये भी डाल दूं बास्केट में, ऐसा नहीं है. होल्ड करो, ओनली हेल्दी बर्ड्स को जो है आप डालो. डेफिनेटली देयर विल बी नो हॉक अटैक्स फॉर दैट.
Yeah. It gives a chance of
You can reduce the hawk attack.
Reduce the hawk attack.
We don't know what.
Yeah, we don't know. Hawks will attack, but the bird can escape. If it is fully fit, the bird will escape, and who knows, it might even come back faster.
Yes. So ये रही सर की बातें, सर. और we will visit the round later on. Hope दोस्तों भी हम लोग जो है अगली वीडियो में हमारी जरूर मिलेंगे. जब तक जो है हम इनके लॉफ्ट का नज़ारा ले लेते हैं.